My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state. This is P.O.C. All right, I just want to be clear. This is what the entity is maintaining while I'm in the bathroom. This is bathroom monitoring. Metrolink, this is the Upland station. And the train, this is the entity that's engaged in, this is the sex offender license. 9BUG028. And IHOP is a sex offender, and this is speaking to the inhumanity of the sex offense committed by the entity. These are the same demons that are stalking in the bathroom, going inside, and the entity does so through what is demonic activity. So Metrolink is the guise of amplified audible activity. The train actually runs at 6:21 a.m. every 30 minutes, so that would be 6:51 a.m. At 6:20 a.m., by the way, it's currently 6:47 a.m., and there's no train that is physically passing. While I'm inside of the bathroom, the entity has what is the amplified noise reminiscent of the sound of the train. It's impossible audible activity. Okay, the entity is maintaining train activity, however, because there is a train station and because IHOP is near the train station, that's the method of activity creation. The entity is engaging in, if you wash dishes inside of the venue, then you'll hear the dishwasher and the sounding of earthquakes. It's demonic as the fake moon that is over the IHOP, speaking to target. This entity is engaging in the P.O.C, and Metrolink is engaged in what is bathroom monitoring. The city of Upland using the train station right now, where Metrolink does not have a scheduled stop. And Metrolink is documented while I'm in the bathroom stall with my legs spread apart, indisposed, and this is all knowledge shared by the entity that's gang stalking. Impossible light is on her car. It's not headlights, they're monitoring, and it's light activity while the entity has the beeping sound of the train while they put it down, and they're all lined up lined here. This is the sexual violence that the population shares in. This is also why they are being documented as it's being published on the internet. This is full exposure, the identity of the people of the state to be shown on the news, to be identified by license plate, to be identified by neighborhood, by city, by address. While the entity is engaging in this pattern of conduct at 6:20 a.m., the entity is sounding train activity that's not going to fill the bathroom with ongoing amplified noise of the Metrolink train. That is in Upland running at 6:21 a.m. It's 6:47 a.m. where they had that train station where I'm coming out right now, and this is the entity that's engaging in that. It's also the communication of a sexually violent threat. They want you to know while you document, yes, we're monitoring your vagina, and you're walking out, and that's why they're all in that position while the train is not in motion on the train and it's not scheduled. Okay, this is the P.O.C. I documented Union Pacific engaging in the same pattern. In Fontana, Metrolink, the same pattern, engaging what is using the train station as a means of monitoring. Okay, and this is not the only means. The Upland train station is engaging in the pattern of conduct and doing so pursuant to what is published. And by the way, it's 6:49 a.m. right now. The entity engaging in what is sitting stationary with the train line, the blockages in order to create light activity and ongoing audible activity. While I am in there, that's over 20 minutes ago, okay? So it's every 30 minutes, and the entity is engaging in this while no train is crossing path as I'm walking out. So I just want to be clear. Metrolink approaching, 6:47 a.m., it's down, and they're crossing path again, leaving. The entity is engaging in what is using the train at 6:20 a.m. I just want to make sure that that's clear. The entity operates outside of what is scheduled. This is what I'm showing you about the Ontario International Airport. Okay, there's what's published on the internet, and then there's what they're doing, what I'm showing you they're doing with gang stalking by every airline in the city of Ontario. The entity's doing stalking by planes, as I'm showing you while I'm in the parking lot of the 7-Eleven. And the entity had commercial planes flying over here. Well, this is what I documented yesterday. But I just want to be clear on that. It is bathroom monitoring, and the entity is engaging in that while they document. While I document, and they're monitoring the documentation, just to clarify. This is the fake moon. Okay, I'm giving details about what the entity is doing in the specific environment. Metrolink is targeting, period. And you're also targeting because the amplified audible activity that you just heard right now, is that which the entity is amplifying in volume. Amplification is specific to what is targeting in the specific environment. And I have documentation here, the fake sun being over the top of my head, and I will attach that video. But this is the entity engaging in. Metrolink is engaged in vagina monitoring. That's what's published on X right now. Metrolink is engaging in the pattern of conduct with regard to the city of Upland. All right, using the train station, as I've documented before 2026, inside and outside of what they are scheduled, what they are publishing to the public. This is the city of Upland using that to do so. And it is a means of harassment. And as you're looking at it, you're talking about hundreds of people that are sharing, and that's just right here crossing path. The city of Upland is monitoring vagina inside of the bathroom of the IHOP, while Metrolink is the guise of amplified audible activity. It's just a method. The entity amplify helicopter activity, amplify car horns, amplifying the demons cooking pancakes on a skillet, using a dishwasher. It's all with regard to audible noise in the engineer light while they are stalking in the path, inside and outside. And the customers are inside monitoring. IHOP is experiencing what what is customers that are going in at nightfall, at dark. The first time I go, it's empty. Okay, that's not to say you never have customers, but the entity engages in what is the business increases while they're gang stalking me. And you are gang stalking under the fake moon. You're gang stalking where the entity is maintaining ongoing plane activity and has an airport, cable airport. The entity does not maintain a commercial airline, an airport with commercial airlines like Ontario International Airport. This is the entity that's flying west over and doing so in alignment to me. So I just want to document this is the ongoing pattern of conduct. This is P.O.C. This is the pattern of conduct as I'm walking outside and documenting it. It is currently 6:53 a.m. and this is the pattern of conduct regarding what is vagina monitoring, bathroom monitoring. All right, this is the upland stop here. So the entity is amplifying in the bathroom here under the fake moon. The people of the state are monitoring my vagina outside. 60490H3. They're engaged in the sex offense of bathroom monitoring while they're on the roads and the highways. 9BDJ643, license plate 8T47517. These are predators, male and female, and over and under majority, maintaining a business establishment for gang stalking. 9WCD192, and that's the significance of amplifying ridiculous noise activity and having impossible light activity, having this specific environment. You're identifying your genitalia as a target in a private space, which is an inhumane sex offense. 9GRM775, and they sharing that together while they are making. This is 5BSN033, 9PPZ771, 8CDA904, 7PNX500, and the Metrolink train station, the city of Upland. These are the entities that are sharing in that the perpetual sex offense, which is pursuant to gang stalking, and it's pursuant to targeting. The entity is doing the same thing when I'm showing my evidence of coming from Ontario to Upland, California with the fake sun over me, and this is before 2026. So this is me documenting the pattern of conduct, the sex offense committed by the entity at IHOP. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, this is P.O.C. The entity is stalking with the people of the state who are maintaining surveillance on the roads and the highways. They do this under the fake sun. And the entity is also stalking by helicopter, maintaining presence, which would be south of my person, one helicopter after another. I'm documenting that, and the entity is engaged in that while the fake sun is remaining in alignment to me as I am walking south down Euclid Avenue, the same Euclid Avenue where the fake sun is rising over me at 537 North Euclid Avenue, and at the Stater Brothers parking lot at the Ontario Village Shopping Center. And while I am, for example, at Woodside Senior Apartments, all of these places in Ontario, and this morning, the entity has the fake sun rising over me in Upland, California. Okay, the entity is maintaining helicopter activity. I just want to show you. This is crossing path 7RYR969. Is stalking with the Ontario Police Department. That's a co-conspirator of murder. The entity is doing so where they live. 936 Euclid Avenue, co-conspirator of murder. Engineer light is touching. They're facilitating video. They are automatically engaged in the state's pattern of conduct while the city of Ontario is gang stalking, while the entity is maintaining helicopter activity. And it is specifically targeting me while a fake sun is in alignment while I'm walking in the direction south. Okay, this is P.O.C. Ontario police that are watching themselves being published on the internet. This is relevant to Mike Lorenz's prosecution, the ongoing criminal acts of obstruction, while they're engaged in surveillance of documentation, while they're engaged in gang stalking me in the first place in furtherance of murder, while the people of the state are still engaging in that pattern of conduct as well. Remember, it's not just the crime, it's the fact that they continue the crime and everything that they know while they commit the crime, in addition to the ways in which the crimes are committed. This is P.O.C. It is currently 6:15 p.m. under this fake sun at the intersection of Plaza Serena and Euclid Avenue. P.O.C. Activity. This is called psychopathic pacing. This is what the entity does with commercial planes. This is the third one as I continue progressing south. Another helicopter going south. The fake sun keeps in stride with me, and these are stalkers. 19916K3, 6TBM531. You're understanding the significance of light activity and presence in an environment. 9HBH022. Ontario police who maintain criminal surveillance in the city of Ontario in furtherance of murder with the people who are sharing in that ongoing terrorism with the people of the state. Controlling the lights in the same way that the fake sun moves in stride with me. The state is monitoring based on my pace, based on how fast I'm going, what direction I'm going, and they are all stalking together. 8MKW226 with the Ontario police. License plate
7KAB 491 with the Ontario Police. And these are all co-conspirators of murder. This is why the Ontario Police are being disbanded. And every act of kidnapping is also why they're being disbanded. But every kidnapper, everyone stalking me of that department is going to prison. That's exactly what Hernandez is getting. He's going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, this is documentation showing what the Ontario Police and the Ontario Airport are doing together. You can hear the City of Ontario engaging criminal summoning. They're stalking. The entity is sounding sirens and lights over here at the Civic Center where I'm located. And this is where the entity is indeed stalking by plane and helicopter. The Ontario Police followed me while I'm walking from Upland today, just like I documented for the past several days, by the way, walking back from Upland in the City of Ontario gang stalking. The Ontario Police Department gang stalking while I'm at Plaza Serene by helicopter, engaged in psychopathic pacing. While the entity is stalking also by plane, you'll see my images showing the Ontario International Airport stalking me while I'm walking south on Euclid Avenue. The City of Ontario is engaged in gang stalking me right now using sirens, using the emergency vehicles. This is the City of Ontario that's ongoing engagement in gang stalking and furtherance of murder, ongoing harassment, while together as a city is targeting me. And they're doing so also with the intent to obstruct justice. These are psychopaths that are engaging in the waste of expenditures, the waste of resources, the waste of money, while these are criminals using emergency vehicles to engage in criminal monitoring. They're demons. And I want to document the airport and the Ontario Police Department engaged in ongoing psychopathic pacing right here, just like on video, while they're engaged in psychopathic pacing along Euclid Avenue as I'm walking south down Euclid Avenue. This is what they're doing earlier today, and they're doing so with Leo, who was harassing me and is engaging in what is gang stalking and harassing me as a Securitas employee, which he is doing as a third party. Leo is going to federal prison, and this is ongoing documentation regarding the harassment by the City of Ontario. And Leo, who is a third party gang stalking and has no authority while he's a third party, he's not a security guard. He is a domestic terrorist that's engaging in what is facilitation of the state's pattern of conduct as a third party employee of that company. And Leo is going to prison. All right, this is documentation where the entity is harassing, the City of Ontario is harassing, and so is Leo. The Ontario Police gang stalked me by helicopter right here repeatedly while Leo is on the job, and he is harassing me and threatening to engage in criminal summoning while the police are stalking me by helicopter with him here. Doing so while I'm at the Civic Center, just like the rest of the people of the state that are here that are also on the same Civic Center area that is not closed to the public. Okay, but outside of that, this is ongoing gang stalking. So this is my paper trail because Leo's going to prison. He engaged in criminal summoning last night. He engaged in criminal summoning as I documented at the Ovid Family Community Library. This is psychopathic pacing. Again, I've already established that the Ontario International Airport is engaged in stalking me with the people of the state and furtherance of murder. And it is the unprecedented basis to shut down the airport, a national security threat, while they're engaged in stalking. They're engaged in criminal monitoring. This is, I just want to be clear, blatant stalking. When you're seeing them flying over what is Euclid Avenue and making a U-turn at the El Pescador at G Street and Euclid Avenue, when they're stalking at 6th Street and Euclid by the 10 freeway, this is the entity that is indeed stalking, okay? This is what the Ontario Police Department were doing, so I want to make sure that I document that. And this is what they're doing in concert with the City of Ontario that's engaged in criminal summoning, lights and sirens, while they're engaged in monitoring with the people who are pacing as I'm documenting, and as the people walk by, the entity is sharing in what is that pattern of conduct of stalking by plane. They're doing so in the specific environment. This is the engineered environment with the multiple shadows and whatnot. I do want to document it's currently 10:12 p.m. And like I stated before, this is where the entity is maintaining plane activity, stalking by the airport, which is stalking by the state. And the Ontario police, who are on the record engaging in what you'll see today, published June 16, 2022, the kidnapping and the unlawful discriminatory basis on its face of exclusion from this venue, the Ovid Family Community Library. The entity that's monitoring my evidence committed that ongoing discriminatory means upon malicious assertions while they are actually gang stalking, excluding from the same venue, Ovid Family Community Library, while I'm in this process of publishing this evidence of the City of Ontario, who is gang stalking, which is the Ovid Family Community Library gang stalking, and while engaging in what is that conspiracy to murder me, engaging in what is excluding me from the venue, while they are engaging in this pattern of conduct. The Ontario police are being disbanded. Okay, this is speaking to the malice of Gerber, speaking to the stalker that is Hernandez, speaking to the psychopaths that is Hadel, the demons gang stalking me in the parking lot at 7 in the morning, talking about a letter that is unorthodox in the middle of a parking lot while you're stalking me. That doesn't make your stalking something that is not of consequence. These are demons. They're blatantly stalking, and this is combined with the criminal activity of the city of Ontario. And this is where I'm subject to stalking by the airport as well. This is the P.O.C. blatant targeting upon the ongoing acts of obstruction, while the entity is aware of what it is I'm publishing that they've been doing for years, such as the kidnapping published in June of 2022, which is currently published on YouTube. This is P.O.C. And Leo is gang stalking. I want to be clear. This employee, he's a third party, and he is going to federal prison for the ongoing serial harassment that he's engaged in because the city of Ontario is targeting. Okay, this chubby binion that's making minimum wage, driving around in this golf cart, molesting me with engineer light, he's going to prison. This is P.O.C.